Hey, what is up everybody? How are you guys doing? Thank you for checking out this video. Support for the channel is awesome. Yeah, kind of interesting just to kind of start this out. Yesterday we got some storms that came through. We were supposed to have kind of partly stormy weather and whatnot, but we had this pop-up storm, the ones that I was talking about, that was extremely violent. It blew my back door to the garage open and I had the front open. I knew it was coming down. I walked out into my garage and it was literally raining sideways through my garage. My camera got soaked, my guitar equipment got soaked. The chickens protected with a 2-foot, 3-foot wall on the side of their little tub. It was pouring rain inside my little chick area here. Literally, rain was going from the back of my garage, through my garage, and over my truck before it even hit the ground. Pretty crazy, pretty crazy. That was like a hurricane. I saw it out the front of the house and I'm like, there might be some issues over on the other side of the house. Unfortunately, my weather station went tilt and it wasn't recording any of the wind or rainfall at the time, but it was probably about 1.5 inches. It only recorded about 3/4 of an inch. And the winds were 50 to 60 miles an hour. I have not been out to my garden yet, but my weather station only recorded 4.5 mile an hour winds. I know what 60 mile an hour winds look like, and it looked like 60 mile an hour winds. So anyway, yeah, I've got puddles all over my garage. I'm cleaning stuff up, drying stuff off. This is the next day. I need it thrown out. But yeah, kind of recovering from that. Pretty crazy little experience. Anyway, I want to talk about martial law. Yeah, we have basically 3 topics in the news right now. We got Charlie Kirk, we got Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, whatever, nighttime talk show host, and troops getting deployed in cities. Now, I'll say it right off of the bat, I'm leaning left on this one for sure. Okay, they went into DC, they sent troops walking around all the monuments, all the nice places that tourists come. Mostly, it was when the world leaders were coming to DC, he wanted to make sure it was all nice and clean and all that good stuff, whatever. Even if he's wanting to fight crime, and this is Trump that I'm talking about, even if he is wanting to fight crime in these cities, anybody, please tell me how the National Guard is fighting crime. They're not fighting crime. They might be suppressing it for a temporary amount of time. Yeah, sure, crime is down in DC. Okay. Given authority presence in a crime area, crime's going to go down. You're not fighting it. As soon as they leave, crime's probably going to be worse. Now, he was trying to get into Chicago. He was pushing Chicago. Not even on the list, not a high crime area necessarily compared to the rest of the country. And he was just going full bore with Chicago. Why? I don't know. It's a very liberal city and he can attack liberals in that way. He could be trying to get social unrest. He could be trying to stir up a hornet's nest. I don't know. You had all these gangbangers, I don't even want to call them gangsters, but gangbangers coming out saying, oh, we got Glocks with switches, bring it, war's going to happen, which it probably would. But the mayor, it's a mayoral decision, I believe, to be able to put national troops. It could be a governor that does it. I am not positive on the logistics of deploying the National Guard, but it didn't happen. The mayor was coming out saying our murder rates are lower than ever. Our violent crime is lower than 10 years. They're doing a good job. And he was saying if the National Guard wants to come in and help and assist with the police department, with the sheriff's department and that stuff, more than welcome. Come on in. We could use the help. But no. That's not what they wanted to do. They wanted to come in and give the impression of taking over the city that, oh, Trump is so mighty. So Guess what? That didn't happen. That didn't happen. They blocked Trump. Yeah. So now, right now, it's Memphis. Now, what are they going to do in Memphis? They're making it out like it's a complete hellhole, and I would say Memphis is a complete hellhole. I've been there many, many times. I've been there recently. I've had to sleep in a parking lot in western Memphis by the Arkansas border. I've had to sleep in parking lots in the kind of in the middle of urban desolateness. It was basically tucked in an industrial area, and I had to park my truck overnight in Memphis. I parked next to another truck that looked like it went through Fallujah. Hundreds and hundreds of bullet holes through the whole thing. This is a paid parking area for semi-trucks. Somebody was paying that. Somebody got shot up very bad. I parked right next to him for days in a box. I've seen it. I've seen it on the streets. I've driven through the bad areas. I've driven through some of the good areas. I haven't seen the nice part of Memphis, but anyway, regardless, I'm trying to justify why I'm saying this. The National Guard going into Memphis is not going to stop crime. For the time that they are there, it's going to suppress it. It is going to change nothing. Every criminal that was going out and doing stuff, stealing cars, looting stores, whatever, shooting up other gangbangers, yeah, they're going to hit the pause button for a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you get an extra, 10,000 or 8,000 security officials in there, which is supposedly what this is. It's not fighting crime, it's just security. They're going to hit the pause button on it. And yeah, as soon as things calm down, things are going to go right back to normal. If anybody thinks that just walking around in military fatigues is going to fix this country's problem, well, you got another thing coming. Now, if it comes to the point of martial law, that is made to fix the problem. So they're going in to fix the problem with the National Guard, but it ain't martial law. No, it's not. They're not saying that it is. They're saying they're there to cut down on, drive-bys and all this kind of stuff. Now, the left is saying it ain't gonna work. This isn't what it is about. And yes, they could use assistance doing things that they are already doing to help the crime go down permanently. Trump wants nothing to do with it. He just wants to go around, swing his pecker in the wind, and flaunt that he is the power of the world to the United States citizens. That's the way I see it. The other way I could see it is he's preparing us for martial law, for straight up martial law, military in the streets. That could be a possibility. And it is kind of interesting. I just saw a list today that Chicago is still on the list. But it was a couple others, and St. Louis, Missouri is now on the list. St. Louis is extremely high in crime. And New Orleans is now on the list. New Orleans is pretty damn high on crime. Another city I have been to a whole lot in the very bad areas where people get stabbed at least on a weekly basis, right where I would go. And I had to walk around at 2 a.m. at nighttime with zero protection because I wasn't allowed to bring any protection devices with me at that job. Most truck drivers are not allowed to carry any protection. So yeah, there was one night I went in, talked to this supervisor, and he's like, yeah, and I forget his name. He's like, the guy that works for that company, yeah, he's dead. Yeah, he got stabbed about an hour ago. Just missed all the action. And I'm standing in a parking lot in the hood in New Orleans. So yes, these areas do need fixed. These areas are extremely high crime, extremely dangerous to live in. New Orleans after Katrina, even today, horrific, just to add that in. But is it right to do it the way that he is doing it? I really don't believe so. I honestly think this is probably for a different reason, for preparation on something, martial law, getting us used to it, because they're doing nothing. They're doing nothing but standing there. And yes, that is a deterrence. Just like a Toyota Prius driving through a Best Buy parking lot with security on the side of the car. It's just a deterrence. It ain't gonna stop shit. They're not fighting crime. No matter what Trump says, they're not fighting crime. If they honestly wanted to come in and fight crime, bring in some, FBI maybe to work alongside with the sheriff's department. Bring in even National Guard just for the presence. If you're going in to do search warrants, instead of having 30 cops going to one warrant, break them apart, in tens, 3, or 10, 10, and 10. And then have them backed with National Guard to come in for that extra security presence. That's what the National Guard's going to be doing. But they're not doing that. And I don't agree with it. They're not doing it the best way. I'm not the smartest cookie in the United States, but I can figure this out, that all these troops did in DC is deter. So that's the plan that they're going with. They're putting a presence on the TV and in the streets and in the cities of military. That's it. I don't agree with all this bullshit that everybody's saying on the right, that we're fixing the cities, we're getting rid of crime, we're doing all this stuff, we are the superheroes. Bullshit. And I'm saying that I'm not saying people in the military are not heroes, but it's the whole push of all this. It's the way that they're going about everything. It really does seem like they're trying to put this heroic thing on the Republican Party. Shouldn't be happening. I got an issue with heroes. Not everybody's a hero. Not every cop is a hero. Not every nurse is a hero. I think to get that hero label, you got to put your life in the way to save somebody else's life. Cops do it all the time. Do doctors do it? I don't know. I mean, yeah, just because you sign your name on a piece of paper does not make you a hero. But he's trying to make the Republican Party heroes. They're trying to make Republicans heroes. They're trying to make our military as heroes. Paint them as the biggest heroes because they stood on a corner next to a monument in Memphis. Yeah, I don't think this is going to do shit. I don't think any good is going to come out of this in the long run. In short term it's going to, but in the long run. And yeah, I'm not completely on board with it. I actually side more with what the Chicago mayor is saying. I agree with it. So live with it, right? Anyway, that's all I got to say. I'm going to go ahead and close it up with that. I'm going to be keeping an eye on St. Louis and see, if and when they come into St. Louis, and I don't know. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Till next time, peace.